Hello, my wonderful learners. Welcome back to English Unlocked. I'm Emma. Today we're going to talk about a very common but often overlooked problem when learning English. This problem causes you to pause when speaking, prevents you from saying words you know, and makes you feel slow. The name of this problem is translating in your head. I get many messages every day. My students tell me, Emma, I understand English, but I can't speak it. I think in my own language first. Then I try to translate it into English. And then comes this sentence. It makes me so angry. Many students also add this. I get angry at myself. Why am I still like this? Why can everyone else speak? But I can't. This anger is very real. This anger is very human. Because you are trying. You are working. You listen. You understand. But the words don't come out. That's when the anger comes. At yourself. At your brain. Sometimes at English. Some students tell me this. Emma, I know the words, but they won't come out of my mouth. Just as I'm about to speak, I get nervous. I get excited and everything gets mixed up. If you feel this way, please pause for a moment and know this clearly. You are not alone. First, let me be clear. This is completely normal. It doesn't mean you can't learn English. It doesn't mean you're inadequate. It just means your brain is choosing the safe route. The brain likes to use the language it knows. The language it knows is your native language. That's why you think in your own language before speaking. That's why you translate. This is not a mistake, it's a beginning. But you don't have to stay at this beginning. Now let's try to understand together. Why translation makes speaking difficult. Scientists say the brain has two different thinking systems. The first system, fast and automatic. This system works very quickly. We use this system constantly in daily life. We don't think while walking. We don't think while opening a door. We don't plan when greeting someone we know. Everything happens automatically. The second system is slow and deliberate. This system controls everything. It proceeds step by step. It tries not to make mistakes. This system works when learning a new subject. We use this system when solving a new problem. When you translate in your head while speaking English, you use the slow and deliberate system. First, you construct the sentence in your own language. Then you try to translate the words into English. Then you check if it's correct. These steps take time. The conversation stops. The flow is disrupted. That's why speaking feels difficult and laborious. That's why stress increases. That's why the words you know suddenly disappear. But when you think directly in English, the fast and automatic system kicks in. This system doesn't stop. It doesn't check each word individually. It allows for flow. That's why speech becomes more natural. Words come more easily. Let's think about this. With a simple example, you're at a cafe and the cashier asks you a question. If you translate, you first understand the question, then you think of the answer in your own language, then you try to translate it into English. Time passes during this process. You feel tense, but if you think directly in English, the answer comes immediately. The sentence is short. Your voice is calmer. This difference is very important. That's why translating slows you down. Thinking in English speeds you up. Translating makes you tense. Thinking in English makes you more relaxed and confident. Now, you're probably thinking, Emma, how am I going to change this? That's a great question. The answer isn't a big change. The answer isn't something that will happen in a day. The answer is small but regular steps. The brain learns better from short, frequent sessions than from long, difficult ones. Research clearly shows this. Practicing a little every day is more effective than one long session per week. We can compare this to drinking water. You don't drink your daily water all at once. You drink it little by little throughout the day. Language learning is the same. Small but regular repetitions, are much more effective. At this point, I want to mention one more very important thing. Don't get angry with yourself for translating. When you feel anger, it's not because you're lazy. It's because your brain doesn't yet fully trust the new language. This trust develops over time. Today, I wanted you to understand this in this section. The problem is not you. The problem is not intelligence. The problem is not the desire to work. The problem is how the brain works. And this can change. In a moment, we will discuss how we can initiate this change with small but powerful steps, with methods that can be easily applied in daily life, with ways that will make you feel more natural and confident in English. Let's stop here for now. Just remember this today. Translation is not the end. It's just a starting point. There's no need to rush. On this journey, every small step matters. If you continue patiently based you will notice the change. English will gradually feel more familiar and comfortable. Now, let's clarify a very important truth together. At this point, you don't have to completely change your life to start thinking in English. You don't have to sit at a desk for hours either. The brain learns language best through small but frequent repetitions. Many students tell me this. Emma, I'm studying, but progress is slow. I study for a long time, but I can't speak. There's a small misconception here. Studying for a long time isn't always effective studying. What matters to the brain is not the duration, but repetition and consistency. Short but frequent practice that allows the brain to process the language more naturally. That's why today, I'm going to talk to you about micro moments. A micro moment is when you use English for just a few seconds. It can be very short, sometimes just one sentence, but these small moments are very valuable for your brain. For example, you're looking at your phone in the morning. At that moment, you can say, I am checking my phone. You're putting on your shoes. I am putting on my shoes. You're getting into the elevator. I am going down. These sentences may seem very simple. In fact, some students say to me, Emma, this is too easy. How will this benefit me? This is where an important point lies. Being easy is not a bad thing. Being easy is necessary for the brain to learn. The brain wants confidence first. Difficult sentences, long sentences, and complex structures initially increase the brain's resistance. Micro moments allow the brain to use English confidently. In these moments, the fear of making mistakes diminishes. Because the sentence is short and simple, the brain relaxes, and this relaxation opens the door to learning. At first, you may speak these sentences slowly. This is normal. You may even start by translating. This is also normal. The important thing is to keep going. As you repeat, your brain will start to produce these sentences faster. After a while, you will notice that the same sentences are starting to come without translation. This is a very important step because it shows that your brain has started to use English directly. The miracle doesn't happen in a day, but every day there is a small change. Now let's move on to a frequently asked question. Emma, I want to think in English, but I don't live in an English-speaking country. This is a very logical question. Of course, living in an environment where English is everywhere is a huge advantage. Hearing English on the street, seeing English in stores, watching English on TV speeds up the brain. But not everyone can live in such an environment. That's why there is another method. This method is called English Islands. Think of your day as an ocean. Your native language is everywhere. But within this ocean, you can create small English islands. These islands are short periods of time when you only use English. For example, you can create a 10-minute English island while getting ready in the morning. During this time, you only think in English. You can look in the mirror and say, I look tired. I need coffee. I am getting ready. Later in the day, you can create another island. Listen to English music for 15 minutes, or listen to a short English podcast. During this time, there is no other language, only English. These islands may be small. At first, this is perfectly normal. It's good to start small. Starting small is sustainable. Over time, these islands grow. 10 minutes becomes 20 minutes. One island becomes 2 islands. And as the islands multiply, translation decreases. English becomes more familiar. The brain begins to see English, not as foreign, but as part of daily life. Some of my students tell me this. Emma, after a while, thinking in English became easier. Sometimes I find myself forming English sentences without even realizing it. At this point, you're on the right track, but you should also know this. Some days can be difficult. Some days, you may still find yourself translating. This is not a step backward. It's a natural part of the learning process. What matters is not being perfect, but being consistent, making a little contact every day, bringing English into your life a little more each day. In a moment, I'll show you another powerful method that will help you learn words and sentences more naturally. This method helps the brain learn language like children do. But for now, remember this. Thinking in English is not a big decision. It is the result of small habits. Micro moments and English islands are the foundation of these habits. Now we come to a very powerful point that will help you feel English more naturally. The goal here is to connect English not just with words, but with life, because that's how the brain learns language best. Many students do the same thing when they learn a new word. They see the word, then immediately think of its meaning in their own language. This seems easy at first, but in the long run, it makes speaking difficult because the brain goes back and forth between two languages every time. This slows down speech. Instead, let's try to learn words with mental images. That is, let's associate the word with an image, a feeling, or a simple scene. For example, let's think about the word apple. Please don't think about the translation. Close your eyes. Imagine a red apple. See its bright color. Imagine holding it in your hand. Imagine the sound it makes when you bite into it. Think about its taste. Now, when you hear the word apple, your brain doesn't go to the source language. It goes directly to this image. This is very powerful because children learn language this way too. A child doesn't learn words by translating them. They see, hear, and make connections. You can use this method not only with objects, but also with verbs. For example, the word run. Imagine yourself running. Feel your breath. Think about the movement of your legs. The word is no longer just a meaning. It becomes an experience. Now let's move on to another very effective method. This method is called self-talk, which is talking to yourself. Self-talk is speaking English to yourself throughout the day. It doesn't have to be out loud. It can be in your head. The important thing is to actively use English. For example, when you leave the house in the morning, you can say, "I am leaving the house." While waiting for the bus, "I am waiting." When you finish a task, "I am done." Good job. These sentences are short and simple, but they are very effective because your brain starts to connect English with real life. English is no longer just a language used during class time. It becomes part of your day. Some students tell me this. "Emma, sometimes I catch myself speaking English to myself. I do it without realizing it." This is a very good sign because it shows that English is starting to settle in your mind. Now I want to share a simple daily plan that brings all these methods together. This plan is not difficult. It is not long. But when done regularly, it is very effective. Create a short English space while getting ready in the morning. Look in the mirror and say simple sentences. Describe what you are wearing, how you feel. Use micro moments. Throughout the day, say short sentences. Remember English while opening the door, walking, or waiting. In the evening, listen to a short video or podcast. Choose content. Spoken slowly. Try to repeat the sentences you hear immediately. You don't have to be perfect. The flow is important. Before going to sleep, describe your day to yourself in English. What did you do today? Where did you go? How did you feel? Simple sentences are enough. This is a very powerful way to close your mind for the day. You don't have to do this plan perfectly every day. Some days, you may miss it. Some days, you may translate. This is normal. Learning is not a straight line. The important thing is to keep going. It's about forming a small connection with English every day. My dear students, remember this. Thinking in English is not a special talent. It is a habit that develops over time. The brain repeats what it trusts. You give it that trust. The more you practice, the more natural English will feel. The more you incorporate it into your life, the more comfortable you will be speaking it. Don't rush this journey. Don't be hard on yourself. Every small step matters. A small step you take today can turn into great comfort tomorrow. Thank you so much for listening to English Unlocked. I'm Emma. I'm with you on this journey. See you in the next episode. Bye for now.